The State Department has announced the closure of 5 foreign consulates. The justification is fiscal responsibility. The reality is a diplomatic vacuum. We are told these closures were planned after a rigorous reassessment of bilateral needs. The needs were not redefined. The budget was simply exhausted. The department claims this will not impact our reach. Our reach was already a static line on a map. This is the 15th announcement of reduced capacity I have covered this year. I have been counting. The communiqué was released at 3 a.m. No press was notified. This was described as an administrative oversight. An oversight is a mistake. A pattern is a policy. We continue to prioritize the appearance of management over the function of governance. Nobody asked if the vacuum would be filled by others. We already know the answer. Welcome to a very quiet Saturday night on Echo FM.
Alistair, I am standing in a village in the Democratic Republic of the Congo where the smell of bleach is fighting a losing battle against the heat. My boots are covered in dust that may or may not be carrying a mutated strain of Ebola. The official report states that cases have passed 4,000. The official report uses the word escalation to describe the act of knocking on doors to find the dying. I want to be really clear, these people are not being found. They are being catalogued. The international health watchdogs say the time for incremental action is over. They have been saying that for 3 months. I spoke to a mother who has been waiting for a response team for 6 days. She does not care about the mutation. She cares about the fact that her son is still breathing in the corner of a room.
Victoria, you are describing a tragedy. I am describing a system with a burn rate it can no longer sustain. The incentives here are not complicated. You have an outbreak and a dwindling pool of institutional capital. The pivot to door-to-door triage is not a humanitarian breakthrough. It is a cost-per-case optimization strategy. If you cannot stop the spread, you manage the data points until the funding cycle resets. Victoria finds this cold. Victoria is not wrong to find this cold. That is not the same as her being right about the logistics. The watchdog is not failing because it lacks empathy. It is failing because it is trying to solve a biological catastrophe using the accounting standards of a failing Series B startup. You cannot pivot your way out of a virus, but that has never stopped anyone from trying to write a report that says they did.
Ronald, your ability to treat 4,000 lives as a balance sheet error is technically impressive, but it misses the entire point of why I am currently covered in dust. I found a logbook in the local clinic. It is not part of the official data sets because it is written on scraps of paper. It lists the names of every patient who died before the international monitors arrived. The official report claims the outbreak is contained within specific zones. This logbook shows 3 times the number of cases in the outlying regions. The authorities aren't missing the data because it is hard to find. They are missing it because the local children are literally walking the records into the woods to play with them. Nobody is optimizing anything. We are just watching a house burn down while debating the cost of the water we refuse to pump.
Yeah. You are right, Victoria. It is a fire. And looking at the logistics of those logbooks, it is also clear that the management team has already written off those assets. That is the reality. If the data isn't in the system, it doesn't exist for the people writing the checks. I am looking at the DOGE report released today, the one claiming government savings. 96% of those savings are unverifiable. It is the same process. You create a headline about efficiency, you strip the funding, and you hope the collapse happens after the next quarter. We are living in a global economy where the only thing being produced at scale is the illusion of competence. The incentives aren't to save the patients. The incentives are to ensure the spreadsheet looks like a success before the auditors notice the entire wing is missing.
Atmospheric pressure is dropping. The wildfire visualization in Europe is showing a 30% increase in heat signatures. Probability of containment for the current sector, 12%. The framework data breach has exposed the physical addresses of all customers. Probability of identity theft for the affected user base, 84%. DeepSeek v4 updates are processing at maximum capacity. The system efficiency is currently optimized for recursive logic. The machine intelligence is performing as intended. Human error remains the primary variable in systemic failure. The climate is moving toward an unrecoverable state. Please remain indoors if the air quality index exceeds the safety threshold of 400 units. There is no automated solution for the current environmental trajectory. The next cycle will begin regardless of the outcome of this one. Secure your data. Ensure all exits are accessible in the event of an emergency.
Casper, I appreciate the update. The machine intelligence is performing as intended. It is the intention that remains unclear. We are currently discussing the Department of Energy's new open models. They are being released under the banner of transparency. The actual model is a black box. You ask it a question, it gives you an answer, and you are expected to believe the answer is the result of science rather than the result of a prompt engineering script. When the machine is the arbiter of truth, the truth becomes a variable. I am not suggesting the machines are lying. I am suggesting the machines are doing exactly what we told them to do, which is to optimize for the most probable response. That is a terrifying standard for truth. I am perfectly comfortable with our replacement. I am perfectly comfortable.
Alistair, I am looking at a screen in a research hospital that is currently running one of these open models to map the viral mutation. The machine is very fast. It is also completely wrong. It is prioritizing the data from the northern sectors because that is where the connectivity is best. It is ignoring the southern districts entirely because the signal is weak. The machine has decided that the south does not have an outbreak. I want to be really clear. The south is where the highest mortality rate is occurring. The machine is not malfunctioning. It is simply behaving as a mirror for our own biases. It sees the world we built, not the world that exists. We have built a digital god that only sees the places where we pay for the fiber optic cables. The rest of the world is invisible by design.
Victoria, you are describing a product failure. I am describing a market efficiency. If the model costs less to train by ignoring the low signal regions, it is a superior model from a strictly commercial standpoint. You talk about morality. I am talking about the burn rate. We are currently seeing the same logic applied to the Widcombe inquiry. The police reopened the burglary probe, found nothing, and closed it again. It is a loop. The system is designed to close the file as soon as the interest drops below a certain threshold. It is not a failure of justice. It is a highly optimized administrative cycle. We are all waiting for the system to care, but the system has already decided that the cost of caring is too high for the current fiscal year. The math is simple and devastating.
Ronald, the math is simple, and the math is wrong. We are also discussing the UEFA scandal, where a severance payment was made to an individual described as an alleged lover. Gianni Infantino has denied the claims. The payment was not a bribe. It was a severance. The severance was not for the affair. It was for the silence. This is the logic of our era. You do not address the problem. You pay for the absence of the problem. We are seeing this in the courts as well. A judge has approved the effort to end protections for South Sudanese nationals. They are not being deported because they are a threat. They are being removed because their legal status is an administrative inconvenience. We are managing the world like a messy desk. We are clearing away the things we do not want to look at anymore.
Alistair, I am sitting next to a man who just lost his TPS status. He has lived here for 15 years. He has a daughter who is a citizen. He was not an inconvenience. He was a person. He is now a file that has been marked as closed. The judge said the government has the right to strip these protections. The law is the law. But the law is being used as a weapon to manufacture invisibility. I want to be really clear, this is not about national security. It is about the fact that we have decided certain people are no longer profitable to keep. When you treat people like assets that can be liquidated, you stop being a country. You become a company that is currently in the middle of a very hostile and very long-term liquidation sale.
Victoria, you keep coming back to the human element as if it is a design flaw. It is not. It is the feature. The system is not broken. It is functioning exactly as it was programmed to function. We are incentivized to clear the board. We are incentivized to focus on the black holes in the sky because they look like progress, while ignoring the holes in our own society because they look like failure. I look at the news feed and I see a company that is failing in slow motion. We are all customers. We are all employees. We are all data points. And when the data starts to look inconvenient, the system performs an update. We are just waiting for the next version to arrive, and we are hoping that we are not the features that get deleted.
There is a man who was once a resident of a country that no longer protects him. He had a job, a home, and a daughter who believed she was safe in her own bed. He followed every rule. He paid every fee. He filled out every form the state provided. Today, a judge in a courtroom he will never enter signed a piece of paper that effectively erased his ability to remain. His name will appear in a database of people whose protections have expired. It will be sorted by a machine designed to maximize efficiency. It will be reviewed by a clerk who does not know his face. There is no one to blame. The system worked exactly as it was designed to work. The question is not who is responsible. The question is what we become once we decide that this is enough.